Hi everybody, this is Oleg. Welcome to Organ Preparedness. Once again, I'm doing video in the car, and as I mentioned before, I don't like doing them because typically they're quite noisy. But right now I'm stuck in traffic, so it's a good thing. It's quiet in here. Quieter. Well, I want to talk to you today about weapons. And I'm willing to say that most of preppers, myself included, probably 99% of them, have some sort of firearms, or at least they're firearm friendly. But what I wanted to talk to you about today is, what if you don't have firearm for whatever reason? You live somewhere where they're prohibited, you can't have it because of your record, or you just simply don't have the money for one. Whatever the reason, you cannot have firearm, and you only had a knife for your weapon, as your weapon. Could you survive with that? Could you survive the apocalypse with knife only? Of course. If it's gonna be a knife, it cannot be kitchen knife. It has to be some good Bowie knife, or Rambo type knife. I have one of those. It's a decent sized knife, huge blade. It's got on the top of the blade, it's got a saw. It's got tricky handle with some matches stuff in it, and cord wrapped around the handle. So it's like sort of multi-tool knife. Yeah, that's a good solid knife. And once again, if you're gonna get knife for your weapon only, you better make sure it's either homemade knife. By the way, check out Knife Maker 123. That guy makes his own knives. So anyway, homemade knife, or it has to be real good American quality knife. Don't buy Chinese, because it will probably fail you in the process, in the moment when you need it the most. So let's talk about knife. That's the only weapon you have. Knife is a self-defense. Would that work? It would probably work in many situations. If you whip out big old Rambo knife, that would probably turn away most people, unless they have a gun, or maybe they have bear spray in their pocket or in their purse. Then not much you can do with that knife if you get sprayed with a bear spray 30 feet away. However, a knife is better than nothing. Same thing if you're walking through the woods, and let's say you're attacked by a cougar. Maybe you won't survive that attack anyway, but again, having that knife is better than your bare hands, because there is not that much you can do with those hands unless you have a weapon in them. So as a self-defense tool, yeah, a knife would work, I would say, in 50% of situations. What about hunting? Could you hunt with a knife? That's also debatable, because most of the times your game is away from you. You would have to make a spear with your knife, attach your knife to a stick, and try to chase your prey, and then stab it. Or you'd have to be like an Indian and throw that spear, try to get your prey, and chances of that are slim to none. I think you have to be really good at it. However, it's not impossible. You can still get prey that way. And of course, once you get your animal, you can use that knife to butcher that animal, and take off the skin and everything. So I was just thinking, is it possible to survive with knife only? If society completely collapses, I think it would be very difficult. I think knife is a great thing to have in addition to your firearms. It's always good to have knife on your person at all times, some kind of knife. But if you had to try to catch food with it, it'd be extremely difficult. You'd have to make some kind of a trap before you can kill that animal. Now, let's say you put a trap and you catch a beaver in there. Then you can come close with your homemade spear, with that knife attached to the stick, and kill the beaver. Because if you get too close, you'll probably get bitten. And you know, I doubt you could, you know, kill a deer, unless again you're good with your spear tactics and you just sit quietly for hours on some path where deers like to cross, and then just kill the deer that way. That's also possible, but would be extremely difficult. So in my opinion, the answer to the question if you could survive with knife only, in my opinion, is probably no. If you had to use your knife for both hunting and self-defense, because when it comes to self-defense, there's pepper sprays, bear sprays, guns. You're SOL at that point, and hunting would be very difficult. And the reason why I decided to make this video, because once upon a time I talked to one prepper, and I mentioned him before in one of my videos. His nickname was Bear. I used to work with him. And Bear, he was a real prepper. He had preps for years. He had everything. He had several firearms. However, he would always claim that if he had to, he would survive with knife only. And this came to my mind today, and I thought, interesting thought. Is it possible to survive with knife only, using it for your self-defense and for hunting? And I personally come to the conclusion that it would be nearly impossible to survive with knife only. Nothing is impossible, but darn near. Please leave me a comment below. Let me know what you think on this matter, on this subject, and drop me big thumbs up if you like this video, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't. Thanks for watching.